Welcome to Law, Business, and Credit, the Irvin Law Perspective. I am Leslie Peters, and I'm joined by,
Charles Irvin. Good evening, everyone.
and as we always like to say, when you call, we
We
answer.
have
All right. Well, I am glad to see everybody, and we have been traveling and and gave everybody a little break for the holidays, but now we're well into 2019 and the year, and just wanted to really kind of just touch base with everybody and kind of get back to the flow of work and business and all that needs to transpire. So, Charles, just catch us up to speed from your end and kind of what's been going on with you, and I'll do the same.
another day in the sandbox, my brother. Uh, in meetings, meeting with clients in court, preparing some motions on some federal cases we got going. Uh, so all in a day's work, a week's work at this point. The week flew by.
That it did. It really did fly by, and that's a good thing. When the weeks fly by, that means they tend to be good weeks. So
That's
I
right.
won't complain about that at all. I know we were fortunate and happy that all of our friends and staff made it back in 2019. Everybody's safe and ready to go. I do want to just give a shout out of encouragement to all of our federal workers who are furloughed right now and going through that challenge to just know that trouble doesn't last always, and so just keep pushing forward, one foot at a time, one step at a time, and
Well,
you know
since you say that, we'll say federal workers and contractors because
yes,
while
yes,
they focus on 800,000 federal workers who are going through it right now, there's millions more contractors out there who probably will not receive back pay. So if you need services, give us a call and let us help. Because there may be something that you need to get restructured. There may be notices that you're receiving, and instead of just sending a shout out, we will send out an answer to an SOS. So if you have anybody that you know that may be in need, send them to Urban Law, have them give us a call, and have them identify themselves as federal workers or federal contractors in need of assistance, and we will see what we can do to help in this time of need. 601-340-6800. How about that, Leslie?
that was even better than expected. And guess what? You didn't even have any practice on that one.
No, I
So
didn't. I didn't, but my heart goes out to them. I know this is a very tough time. I think we're in day 28 or 29. And, a second pay period is coming really fast. And so that means evictions, credit card notices, student loan notices, mortgage notices, private school notices, aftercare notices, all kind of notices that are coming. And since we specialize in helping people get the credit picture that they want to see, that's a small way that we could probably help by getting them some legal assistance.
yeah, and I've just put that number on the screen. So again, that number is 601-340-6800. Somebody will answer that phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So give us a call and just make sure you mention and reference, just say, the federal, that you're either a federal worker or contractor calling, particularly if you call after hours, so that we can get that message and know appropriately how to respond. So again, thanks for doing that, Charles. I mean, it's certainly great to be in business with you, somebody that understands it and understands what that we have a responsibility to help as well. And I just like to encourage every citizen has a responsibility to help and can help. So in your own little way. So make sure that you're reaching out to your neighbors, reaching out to family, reaching out to friends, reaching out to people that might be struggling during this time, and seeing how you can help as well.
All right. So uh, one thing that pops in my mind, we've been away for a little while. Why don't we talk about some of the business stuff we do? I had an interesting call with a potential client today, and they wanted to know how they go about setting up a small business. How do they go from vision to business? And so that may be a good place to start today. Talk to us about your experiences in getting new businesses started. We can start there and just kind of work our way through it.
Yeah, I think, first of all, it can be overwhelming for a lot of people to think about all the things that go into starting a business. So what I usually tell, when I encounter for most people, they know what gift they have and what it is they want to do. What they don't know is all the logistical pieces that need to happen from an organizational perspective to get that business off the ground. So we have a questionnaire and general checklist we go through to make sure people that we help them walk them through getting those things set up. And I'll just kind of give you an example of some things that people don't think about. The first thing about it is, what type of entity will your business be? Are you going to look at a sole proprietor, a partnership, a LLC, a corporation? If you're going to do a corporation, is it an S Corp? Is it a C Corp? What's the pros and cons of each? If it's an LLC, is it a single member LLC? Is it a multi-member LLC? And that's just we're just talking the entity in which you're going to establish. And then it's about, how do you go about establishing? What's the paperwork that's needed to be filed, both with the Secretary of State, with the IRS, all of that process. And then once you figure that out, then you got to go about the process of seeing, is the name that you desire to have, is that name even available? And so you got to check that on the state level. So there's some things that people just don't think about when they start the business. The next thing that's important, what type of insurance are you going to need? What type of paperwork is required, even in your local city, depending on the nature of business that you may be in. If you're in food services, you're going to need licensing. You're going to need health code, preparation, and you got to pass all the health codes and OSHA in terms of safety. So there's a lot that goes into every business, and each business is different because based on your uniqueness, you have a different set of rules and things that you need to comply with. And so that's some of the big ones that people don't think about. I always remember one of my favorite stories is I was helping someone start a business, and the one thing that they had, as we would get to the questionnaire that I asked them that they hadn't thought about was, and it was real simple. I said, okay, have you thought about how you're going to pay your taxes? And I was saying in reference to keeping track of your taxes, because they were going to use a manual system instead of a POS system. I said, so how are you going to account for the sales taxes? And the particular business they were in, they had a franchise local tax to pay, and they had a tourism tax to pay. So one of the biggest things we did was to convince them that they're going to need an automated system. So when they run the report, it separates everything and tells them how much money you have in sales, how much money is to this tax, how much money needs to go here. Those reports are generated. That money is automatically ciphered into those respective accounts, and you don't ever have to worry about cross-contamination or having a situation where you get behind, because they will shut you down over not paying your taxes. That I can assure you. So it's just about sitting down and thinking through the common nuances that most people don't. Charles, as you like to say sometimes, most people are there to talent, and the business is just something they have to do. So yeah. The marketing aspect, what's your marketing plan? Looking at your business plan.
Yeah. Great. I think that's spot on. I mean, that's a long list of things. So It may be a bit overwhelming. And I think that's exactly why people seek us out, is because we not only do we get you up and running, but we educate you along the way. And we stick by our clients as they develop their business. And not only do we get them started and then move them to operational, we can also assist with compliance, as you were talking about, permitting, taxes, that type of thing. We have a whole team set up And then from there, how are you going to fund the business? We work on personal credit, but one of our specialties is business credit. And so those big ticket items and the small items are how we try to put our clients at a different level of understanding. So not only are they in a position to get up and running, they're able to get up and running and start moving and learning how to operate in the business sector. And that way, they're serving their clients better, because a lot of the things that they worry about as small business owners, we're there to help walk them through those things.
Yeah, and I think it's important to realize, we're walking you through things that we've already been through. So, I mean, it's not like it's a foreign land to us. Some of those things are ongoing that we still have to encounter and do for ourselves. And I think, as you sit the other big thing with business owners that I really enjoy doing is convincing them you don't have to be great at everything.
No, you don't. I think that's one of the misconceptions, because first of all, at the end of the day, we're a small business. And so we live it, we breathe it. It goes with us everywhere we go. We specialize in the practice of law and credit, but we're a small business. And so we have lived some of those issues. We know those issues. And we bring a healthy dose of empathy to the client. We bring them a team that's solution oriented, meaning not just a catchphrase, but if you need help finding someone to help you with payroll, or you need someone to help you set up the business, we can help you with A to Z. And we have a list of providers that, if it's something outside of our expertise, we can pair you with people that are vetted that will help you move your cause and advance what you're trying to do in a timely fashion.
Yeah, and that's important, because little things can trip you up. And one thing, Charles and I tell you, we are not good at the same thing, which helps us tremendously. And so we also, I'll give you an example. There's no secret that in our operation, I am the techie one of the group.
No doubt about
it. What'd you say, Charles?
No doubt about that.
So sometimes I have to take my team kicking and screaming, because they don't understand, well, why do we have to do it this way? Or why do we have to do that? And then sometimes it's weeks later, or sometimes it's months later, after they realize the benefits of how the technology is making it easier for them to do their job, then they come back and say, you know what, we didn't get it then, but we definitely get it now. We really appreciate it. And so don't be afraid. One of my mentors is very successful, said this. He said, everybody focuses on being 100% of their best when 80% will do just fine.
That's right.
And what he's saying, if you can do 80% of the things right, 80% of the time, you're going to do just fine. That's a B. And if you look at it, if you don't believe me, you can ask Bill Gates the same thing. Bill Gates was not the top of his class.
That's right.
He was not.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times people mistake the fact that you have to show up every day focused on your mission. And so one of the things that I like to do as an exercise with clients is find out exactly what the passion is, so we can shape the mission around the passion. And it's no doubt that if you're doing something that you love on a daily basis, it's not really work. You spend the hours, but you love what you're doing. A perfect example of that is the way we approach our clients in law. It's a shameless plug, of course, but at the end of the day, we love servicing clients and telling their story. And so while we may work long hours, we may work weekends, we may work holidays, we may miss time with our families to make sure that their stories are told properly. We want to do that. We love doing it. And so we're inside of a lane that fits us like a glove. And so that's what we want for our clients who are going into business or thinking about business, is to shape that initial vision in a way that is something that you can build and grow, and you're providing a service to someone who needs it. And it's something that you love doing.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. There's no greater truth than that. And I think as we give you some just tangible goodies that hopefully will help you today, so I got the question recently: what is attorney-based credit repair versus just credit repair? Why do you call it attorney-based? And it's a real simple answer for that. And here it is: the only legal way that you can get an item removed from your credit report is it has to conflict or be in violation of the law.
That's
the
right.
only thing the Bureau responds to is the law.
Yeah. And I'm not surprised that you said that, because that's why we do what we do. But I do know that our job is, and we take it to heart, to not only help people improve their credit situation, but we do it in a way that is restorative and educational, so that they know the why and the how and the what, stuff that we, that you remember back in elementary, they used to tell us who, what, when, where, and how.
Yep.
And sometimes why.
Where and how.
Yeah. So that's the way we approach it. And the reason we do that is we want not only to remove that item, but we want you to move to the next step. And the way you do that is having information. So while there are other people out there that do it, we feel like we do it better. We feel like we do it more efficiently and more thorough, so that it's not something that's removed improperly and then it comes back right at the most inopportune time.
So I'm glad you said that. So I'm gonna share some knowledge because I deal with the personal credit side a lot, and so I do want to share just some knowledge based on the law. When I say the law, I'm talking about the Fair Debt Collectors Act. I'm talking about the CROA, which is the Credit Report Operations Act. Those are federal laws that govern credit in the credit system, which the credit system is not that old. That act is actually that was created in 1971. So, for a lot of us, our parents didn't always live in the era of the credit score. It wasn't always around. So now that it is, you must understand how it works and how to maneuver within it for it to help you and not hurt you. So I'm going to answer some of the common questions I have. And you guys just hit the chime box and let me know, because I've been asked I'm preparing a digital course that's going to go really in depth and teach some things. But I'm also thinking about just doing a couple of free webinars here this quarter, and just walking people through just some basic things, the understanding of credit, and just chime in and let me know if that's something you want to participate in. It's going to be free, and but I'll break it down and teach you. So if that's something you'd like to see, just let me know in the chat box and just say yes, please bring it, or something like that, and I'll certainly do that. But one of the common questions I always get is, if something is removed of my credit report, can it pop back on there, and why? So let me give you a common situation of how this happens, particularly with collection accounts. So let's say you have a collections and it's with ABC Collections, right? You owe them money. This collection agency, ABC Collections, is now trying to collect that money from you. So we're able to go through the process. You're able to get that removed from your credit report. So ABC Collections no longer reports that debt to your credit account. It's no longer shown. Okay. That does not mean you don't owe that debt. It simply means it's not on your credit report. You still owe that debt and still have the liability of that debt. So they're not credit report. So if ABC right? They were trying to collect this debt on behalf of, say, Company J. Company J gave them 3 months to collect it, and they were not able to collect it. Then Company J hires another company to collect that same debt. Now that same debt is going to appear on your credit report again under the new collection company. So that's how that same debt can appear, because, or if collection agency ABC sells it to another collection agency, they can relist that same debt under their name back on your credit report. So, people say sometimes, but hey, you removed it, but it came back. No, that debt didn't come back. It came back under another name, and that's treated as a new debt. It's the same debt, but it's on a new vendor, and that's a new entry on your credit report. So that's how that legally can happen.
So then in that scenario, talk to them about how you would negotiate so that it does not come back. Because you're talking about the removal, but you're also saying that there's something still owed. So talk to them about the comprehensive process that we would take to get it gone.
Yes. So the first step on that debt is to realize you look for, the law says simply, and the law says a lot because it's obviously is very extensive, but in a nutshell, what the law is saying is that everything that's on your credit report has to be verified as accurate, period. If it's not accurate, then it can't be listed on your credit report in that way. Now, when they say it's accurate, that does not mean what Credit Karma says. That does not mean what Identity IQ says. That means it has to be accurate based on the information that the creditor provides you and the information that the bureau provides you. So that's during the process of hiring a company like ours. We go through the process of knowing how to use the verbiage to get them to reinvestigate, right, the matter. Therefore, they send the actual full credit report from the bureaus in. Then we analyze that report against what the creditor has provided to see if there's any inconsistencies, any inaccuracies, any holes that we can challenge based on the law. If it is, and we challenge, we're not disputing saying, oh, this is not me. That's not worth a hill of beans. You're not disputing saying, oh, this is not me. This is not me.
So here's one question, and I apologize for cutting you off, but we have a question from the audience about the dispute process. So you're talking about part of the dispute process, the specific mechanics of how to apply the law, but talk to them about the mechanics of timing, how, when you file a dispute, how much time they have to respond. If that's not successful, what steps you take next. Take them through the dispute process real fast.
Yeah, so at first all starts with analyzing your credit report, doing a complete credit audit, and looking at what your situation is. Typically, the two biggest areas on your credit report.
Time out. Because you just added a layer, and for purposes of educating the audience, tell them about the Irvin Law audit real fast, and then tell them about the dispute.
Yeah. So the first stage we do what we call a credit audit of your credit. That starts the process, and then we do a detailed audit. We look at everything: how many times you were late, when it was. We look at your utilization. We look at every individual debt you have. We look at everything. And then we present you with a full report of that. And we show you, hey, based on the data, if you had a credit score in this range, you would have an interest rate of this. And if you were purchasing a car of this value, this is what your note would probably be. Based on your current credit, you would be at this rate. This is what your note would be. And that shows you we give you a visual image of just how much your credit is costing you or helping you. Then we go over that audit with you to determine the best process to going forward to help you be in a position. The first thing I tell all of my clients is, if you come in here and you're looking for an overnight sensation, that's not what we do. You don't solve. This is something that it took you years to mess up. And you don't come in here and look for a solution that's going to fix it in 30 days. It doesn't exist. Are there some situations where that can happen? Yes, but it's very situational, and certain things have to be at play, and that's not everybody. So there's always anomalies. Just like when you buy a car, if you see 0% financing, underneath in the fine print it said for qualified buyers only.
Right.
So just know.
So once
that
you've done that audit and you've looked at the items and kind of put them into risk factors on what you want to attack to improve that credit score so that the credit is helping and not hurting. Talk to us about the initial dispute, how many days they have to respond to that, and then what you do next.
Yeah. So the initial dispute, we'll send the initial dispute out. They have 30 business days to respond to that. And that's not counting weekends. So they have 30 business days to respond from the date they receive it. So it's not the date you send it, from the date they receive it. So that basically puts you in about a 45-day time frame.
That's right.
That they have to respond. They then send those letters back to you, because we do everything, we're working for you. And then at that point, you get them to us, we go over them, and we respond. And so hopefully in that process, they either going to verify the debt. And if they verify the debt, we're going to go through it, and then we're going to ask them to prove their verification. How did they verify it, right? And then if they might remove some things after investigating, they couldn't verify it, so they removed them and deleted them from your report. So that's phase one. Stage two, we take the ones that were verified. We analyze their credit report, what they're saying they verified, based on what we're seeing, and we're seeing if we can find any holes or anything that doesn't line up with the law. And if so, we challenge the verification. And when we challenge the verification, we make them actually have to prove how they verified.
That's right.
And so then they have to send us the documentation to prove how they verified it. If they can prove it, then according to the law, it stays. And so then step three, if it's proven, if they verified it, they've proved the verified it, we work in step three with negotiating kind of a debt consolidation deal, which we found a term that's amenable to you and amenable to them. And we create a plan to pay that debt off, but with special terms in a way that helps your credit. So, and special language that we use to get them to agree to terms that are favorable to you. And so those are the three stages of how we operate. The component number 4 that's worked through all of that, we educate you through the whole process. We actually explain to you, this is why we're doing it. We do that in the audit. We help you with utilization. And this will be a lesson for a whole nother show. And we'll deal specifically with utilization, because that's the area where you can see people have big swings in their credit very quickly. And that's the area I was talking about, is for qualified buyers only, because that doesn't fit for everybody, but it's based off your utilization. And we look at that during the audit, and we educate you on that. If you fit in that criteria during the audit, what can be done. So all that's a part of the comprehensive way in which we view it, but we do educate you. And we, I don't do the overnight game. My goal is that when you leave our program, not only have you improved your credit score, it's going to continue to improve once you leave, because you've been educated and you understand why you're doing things the way you're doing it.
That's right. And I think that's, a lot of people do it a lot of different ways, but our goal in doing credit is to have lifelong clients, not just for credit, but we want you to establish that personal credit so that you can then do whatever it is you want to do, whether you have a job and you're thinking about doing something on the side in e-commerce, whether you're thinking about stepping out and opening up a business at a physical location or consulting, whatever it may be. Having that helps you improve your odds of success in the business. One, you have a better handle on how to use your credit to your advantage. Two, it opens doors because you have more money at your fingertips. And so that's the end goal. And that way, our clients are coming back successful. And, in working through those steps, it's our job to ensure that the bureaus are doing what they're supposed to be doing and holding them accountable so that if they are at any time not reporting properly on your credit history, it's fixed, and it's fixed permanently.
Yeah, the other thing I know we're about to get out of here for the day, but certainly put your email in the chat. I'll add you to our mailing list, and you get the emails when we do the free webinars or special promotions that we have going on from time to time. You got to be on the mailing list to be able to get that though, but we do those all the time. So I always tell people like, well, I don't know about the discounts because you're not on the mailing list. So send us your email. We'll make sure you get added to the mailing list. Just type it in, and we'll do that. We just love helping, and one of the greatest stories I have, and we'll get her on the show to tell her story, but we had this customer who just wanted to come in and get their credit fixed because they wanted, for the first time, to be able to buy a car and not have to have a cosign. That's all they wanted to do. That was the whole goal. Well, 1 year later, not only did they buy a car without a cosign and get a great interest rate, but the landlord that they were paying rent to let her know that they were going to be selling the house that she was renting. And she really loved the house. She was paying almost $1,500 a month in rent. We got her a loan, a home loan, a mortgage. We helped get her in position to have the credit score to get her and connected her with a mortgage broker. Got her a home loan. She never have to move. She bought the house she was renting from the landlord, and now her mortgage is $500 less than what her rent was. So, and her only goal starting out was to just be able to buy a car without having a cosigner. So it just goes to show you what hard work will do.
Absolutely. So we've got two more questions, and then we got to get out of here.
All right.
How much do credit inquiries, how does that affect your credit? Talk about hard pulls versus soft pulls right quick and kind of give them some feedback on that. And how long does it take a credit inquiry to fall off?
Credit inquiries are on there for 2 years. It takes them 2 years to fall off. A soft inquiry does not calculate it in your credit score, does not help hurt your credit score at all. A hard inquiry does. Here's the difference. Anytime you go and you apply for something, and you're applying for that credit card at the store, or you apply for anything, that's a hard inquiry. They have tangible proof you had to sign something. That is not coming off for 2 years. Right. A soft inquiry, anytime you check your own credit, that does not count against you. If somebody else pulls your credit, that's a hard inquiry. So 2 years there. So just to know about those. And the goal is nobody really should have more than 6 inquiries a year. Just to let you know, personally, for me, last year, I had 0 inquiries. Now, my point is you shouldn't be getting an inquiry unless you're very specific, you know why you need it, and you've identified it. But you definitely don't want to be going over 6 a year.
Are you talking about focused shopping? So then that's a topic for another day. But in the process of leaving, I want to wish everybody a happy MLK holiday, safe. Yes. And I want to remind all of you to pass this video around. And if you have friends and family who are federal workers or federal contractors and they need letters to assist with their credit situation in the midst of this shutdown of the government, have them call us and specify that they are federal workers or federal contractors in need of assistance. 601-340-6800.
All right. I'll put the number on the screen. Give it one more time, Charles.
601-340-6800.
All right. Well, it's been a great privilege to come to you. Make sure you tune in to us. If you missed this for any reason, you can hit it on our YouTube channel at Irvin Law. And all the shows are cataloged there, so you'll be able to see it there as well. If you join the mailing list, I'll be happy to send you the link. So again, just type your emails in the chat box. We'll join the mailing list. And anytime we have promotions or discounts or just some great information to get out, we'll make sure you get it. I'm Leslie, joined by Charles. This is Irvin Law, the Law, Business, and Credit, the Irvin Law Perspective Show. We will see you the same time next week, every Friday, at 4:30. We'll see you then. Take care and God bless.
Take care.